Episode number 221 with Steve and Mike. Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton.
This is the other guy. We've met.
Michael Steineman.
Yes, how you doing, Steve?
Good. Sorry, I cut you off there. So you've been playing? How you been? It's been a couple of weeks.
Yeah, nothing. A pretty decent week. Just keep chugging along, hanging on barely here, but no, it's not too bad. Everything's the same, Steve. Like I said, I got to work long hours. Too many expenses, and I got to work long hours to play. But for the most part, I enjoy it. So you won't hear any great complaints from me. Although I'm thinking every time I talk about how tournaments are stupid, they have the tournament series at the bike, the circuit series. So I'm thinking of going up there to play a couple tournaments.
When is this?
Which is probably, well, it starts tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow morning there's a $400 tournament, and Friday there's an $1,100, and Saturday there's a $600. All for circuit rings, man. I want ring number 2.
Okay.
Are you not working for a few days?
I'm not. I don't go back until Monday. I have a half marathon on Sunday, though.
Are you supposed
That's when I'm running that race. But what time is the one tomorrow?
We could get in a hotel room, Steve, and you can just run around in circles. I'd have to look. They probably all start at like noon or something.
Okay.
How far a drive is the bike for you?
Oh, it all depends on traffic. An hour and 15 minutes to 2 hours.
Okay. Well, if you
left
at 9 a.m. or so, avoid all the heavy traffic, hopefully you would.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, Steve.
Sounds like fun.
Well,
okay. Is this a 1-day tournament or is it 2-day or?
I don't know.
400 should be a 1-day, right? Or is this like a multiple flight thing? Or
it depends how many people are there. I'd say your average circuit event, it's probably, I mean, the one I won was a 2-day event with only 60 players.
Okay.
So if I were to guess, you'd play down to, it could be a 1-day event, or you would play down to, 1 or 2 tables, and you'd finish the next day.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Okay, well, we can discuss that more.
Yeah.
Tell me about the marathon here. So are you ready for this?
Yeah, I've been training quite a bit. I've been following a program. The furthest I've run so far is 12 miles. And for this race, I have to do 13.1. So just a little bit further than that. I'm in what they call a taper phase now. Like as you approach the race, you start running less and less and with less intensity. And the idea is to kind of cool the muscles down and get them ready to go. And I've been talking with some runners, and they're like, you could even take that last week off, with the exception of the day before, go and run slow for 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
And then you're ready for race day. And I'm like, I think I might do that. And I haven't run in 3 days, but I've been stretching every day and rolling. And I didn't realize how tight my hips and my legs were from just running, at every other day at least for the last 3 months, And so I'm kind of excited. I think I'm going to do pretty good. The over-under, we've taken some bets on Twitter. So if you guys are interested, Gorilla Man, Mike, and we've been, it's been fun. But the
over-under is from where in the race you collapse, or you're actually the
finish time, assuming I get across the finish, is 2 hours, 35 minutes. I just did a 10-mile run and felt really good about it, and could have run a lot faster, I feel, in an hour 53 like a week ago. So I think I'm going to crush
113 minutes, 10 miles. So 11 and a half minute miles.
Yeah, I think it was like 11:19 or 11:20 or something like that. Yeah, that's some good.
Do you have a running partner, or is this all on your own, or?
I've done maybe 3 or 4 runs. Oh no, I take that back. There's one guy at work I run with, Chad. Whenever we work together, we end up running together, and we'll run between 4 to 5 miles. But I would say I probably run 90% of them on my own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe have we already discussed this? When did you come across this idea to run?
It was an ex-girlfriend. She got me into running, and I enjoy it. And it's
I thought you were going to say she tried to run you over with a car, over a hill, chase you for a while. Afterwards.
I had to run really fast to get away.
No, I'm sorry, Steve. I'm always interrupting you. Yes.
Yeah, no, she got me into it, and I did a race, and it was a lot of fun. It was like, I like competition. I think that's why I like betting and
Sure.
poker and stuff, and there's something extremely competitive about, like, the gun goes off, the first guy to the end wins, I just like it. I like passing people, and I like trying to get a faster time, and it's fun. I'll never be one of those elites that actually is winning these races unless I'm racing in events that have 50, 60, 100 people. Then it might be doable, but
right,
the ones I'm doing here have thousands, so it's like, if I'm kind of competing in my age group,
right. We do have the Barton-esque commitment here. You can already sense you go full bore into something. So
yeah,
this might be a lifelong passion for you, Steve. I really think this is.
It could be. And I mean, man, what a boost to like expected life value, I'm a lot thinner now than I was before. Well, maybe, yeah, about 10 pounds. I'm very lean. But I need to find a balance between weightlifting and running, because, a year ago I was 10 pounds heavier and it was muscle, and I think I looked better. But I don't know that it's the ideal body to go as fast as you can in these races,
Right.
But, man, my legs feel like tree trunks. They,
Sure. I think so.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I need to find a balance there. After this race, I'm going to be prepping for a marathon, which is in three months from then. It's in March.
Well, what do you need to be able to curl 150 pounds, for example? We know getting leaner helps you run faster. What does putting muscle on help you do?
Well, you look and feel better. You're stronger. I think you're less likely to get injured.
Okay. No, it's just curious.
There's
not tests at the fire department. Do they have tests?
Oh, for physical strength?
Yearly tests, like you can, yes.
We get a physical every year. But we don't have to.
If you can't lift the kitty, then it's time to give up.
Yeah, if you can't curl a kitten in your arm, we all stay pretty fit. I mean, we have a workout period every day from 8:30 until 10, and
okay.
At least on my crew, we usually extend that because we all like to work out longer. And it's just kind of a culture of athletes.
Gotcha.
Which is nice. I like it. So there's a lot of guys at work that have run marathons, so I can pick their brains. But yeah, it's definitely, yeah, maybe you're right. I am getting pretty into it, but it's fun. I dig it.
Where do you, so 2 years from now, what do you, can you do a marathon? You think in 8-minute miles? I mean, are you already like thinking along your big,
my average running pace, I've realized with this is a long-term game.
Sure.
It's kind of like retirement or something. Like, it's not something you're going to get really good at overnight.
That's why I said 2 years, Stevie. I know you have some plans here. Don't lie to me.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how, after I finish the first marathon, is it just a bucket list thing like it was for me skydiving and bungee jumping? No desire to do either one of them again. Check them off the list. It was cool. I'm done. Is that what this marathon is going to be? Or is this going to be like one of 10? I have no idea. But I just got to complete it. And then I can check it off and I'll go from there.
What's in a marathon? 26.2 miles, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So to run a 3-hour marathon, you'd have to run 6.8 minute miles for 26 miles. That's quite a clip.
There's no way I'm completing this in 3 hours.
No, I'm talking about like 2 years from now with little,
Okay.
our little running Stevie become a man here. No, I'm just, throwing something out.
Okay. Well, the over under on the marathon is 4 hours, 57 minutes, and I can't remember what seconds. So if I get 4:57 or less, then I hit the under.
Well, that's quite a jump from 4:57 to 3.
3 hours. Yeah. I have no idea what I'll get on the marathon. I think it'll be very telling how I do on this half marathon. But again, then I basically get to run the half marathon and then fucking run it again. That's a marathon. So
sure. What's your,
it's no joke. It's from what all accounts that I've, read books and talked to runners, they say it's just a little bit further than humans were meant to run at one time. And the evidence of that is around mile 18 or 20, 75% of everyone hits a wall and they just want to quit more than anything else.
Sure.
And only 25% don't. And that's even the elites, the guys that are winning these things, so that'll be quite a feat.
What was I going to say here? What mental preparation? I know, do you have I know you're always into like mental, strength positivities or something specific for running that you're kind of embracing.
Yeah. The mental part of it comes in when you do the long, slow runs. When you start out at a pace where you're like, I could do this forever. But by the time you get to the last mile, it is brutal. And that's where your brain is like, it's just a mental thing. And your brain is fighting like every pain and ache and trying to get the, so that you step just right so it doesn't hurt. Like that last mile is where you're really like training your brain to go to the distance. And then the next time you run that distance, you don't hit it at the mile, the last one that you hit it at the next one. And it just goes like that every time. That's what I've been using to kind of like train my brain for it. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, pretty much. I wasn't sure if there's some specific guru of specifically for running, running whatever mental tricks, I don't know, to maintain a pace. But
I don't know. I mean, honestly, like I just put on a book and, I just listened to a book on stocks or poker or, whatever. And I'm able to get through quite a few books, when you just put on the headphones and you're like, okay, the next 2 hours and 15 minutes are just going to be spent jogging. You might as well get a third of the way through a leadership book or something,
what I see what I think every time I see people run, I think you know the answer, Steve. There's a pause. I can't even say it now because it's coming. It's no fun. I was going to say, what a bunch of fucking losers or something like that. We're all rooting for you, Steve.
Thank you.
I would. Is there actually money being wagered here on the over/under? Or is this just for fun? People,
not too much. We got $20 at a time so far, but I'll take action up to 200 if anyone's interested. I'll throw out a tweet.
Okay, well that's motivation right there.
Yeah. Anyhow, yeah, I'm excited. I have been the Game Changers movie. Did you ever end up watching that?
I haven't watched it. It's in my Netflix queue.
In your queue, okay, yeah. I listened to a counter of it. It was Joe Rogan podcast, and he brought on a guy that I'd heard before, and they basically, I don't want to say debunked it, but they definitely gave the other side, and it was very interesting. I will say though that after watching that movie and trying the vegan thing, I did it for about a week and a half or 2 weeks, and I felt really good the first week. And one big difference that I noticed was having a vegetable and fruit smoothie before I run, makes me faster. But still, like after the workout and like maybe for dinner that night, like just introducing something the size of like a deck of cards worth of meat or eggs, like recovery seems to be faster. My sleep seems to be a little bit better. I felt like I just kicked ass for the first week. And then after that, I kind of tapered off. And then now by introducing maybe every 2.5 meals, some sort of like eggs or venison has helped my
Okay.
recovery. But I think a big thing out of that, though, is that generally speaking, everyone would benefit by eating more vegetables than they are now.
Yeah. I thought the plant only diet you had to take, was it vitamin B? There's some sort of pill you need to take where you're something crucial you're not getting with that diet that you can only get through meat. I don't even remember what it was.
In the Game Changers movie, they said it was B12, and they said that it was because back in the day we used to drink from streams, and when we picked up fruit and stuff, sometimes it had dirt on it, and ingesting that dirt somehow it gave you B12, or drinking from the streams and rivers somehow it gave you B12. When we get water out of the faucet now, it's been bleached, and it gets killed. That was their logic. Joe Rogan on the other side of that, they said that was all horse shit. So I don't know, but basically, yeah, they said B12.
Joe Rogan's a meat eater, I take it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's a hunter. He only eats meat that he's killed.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on the other side. And I think they may have a point in some of that. I think that if you go like full vegan, there may be something in your diet that's lacking a little bit. But I don't know what it is, and I couldn't figure it out in a week or so, and it seemed to replace it as soon as I started throwing in a couple eggs every other day, and started throwing in some little venison steaks or something,
Okay.
But that was for me. I don't know. Maybe it's like everyone is just a little bit different, and if your heritage is from Asia, it doesn't seem unreasonable to me that maybe their bodies have been able to process rice so it doesn't make them fat. But if you do that in Europe, in Norway or something, they were never able to grow it there, so their bodies aren't used to. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably true.
That
makes sense.
It makes logical sense to me, but I don't know.
What else should we talk about, Stevie? Should we just talk about hands and we can stop? Because there's actually a couple hands here, I think, that reflect upon maybe broader issues of trying to be a poker pro in terms of like game selection and bankroll management.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, unless you had something else to talk about. I'm sorry I didn't prepare.
No, this is good. I'm going through we're going to have Alex on soon, and he shot me over a program of his about cash games. And it's no small program. I want to go through it first before I bring it up on the show, but I can tell already I'm halfway through it, and I'm like, okay, we're definitely doing this. It's about cash games, and it's like 13 hours. I'm about halfway through it. And
so it's a collection of videos you pay for when you say program, or yeah.
You buy the program and you get all the videos, and they're kind of notched up into like 20 to 30 minute videos. And his idea is that you just watch one every day, and that's pretty much what I've been doing.
Okay.
And actually, I've probably been going through 2 a day. But it's really good, man. You got to we'll get you a copy, Mike, and you go through it. I think it would, I don't know, even if it's a couple bucks to your hourly, like, man, it's good.
Assassinato is definitely your brother from another mother there, man. The two of you don't waste a lot of time in life. You're always doing something.
He's man, he just pumps out like quality product, like every video, like you can't find a bad one. You know what I mean? Like he's just super smart. And I think he's taught so much that he's basically become an expert in teaching it quickly, so that you get it.
Right.
And yeah, I'm excited that he's just a rock star in content,
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm always happy to check something else out from him. Well, we haven't had him on in a while. Who was I thinking? We haven't had Clayton on since he started hosting the Tournament Poker Edge podcast either, have we?
I think we might have caught him as he just started doing it, but it was
okay.
Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe right. We had him on for the game. Remember, it was him and Mark.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
I was just throwing out some ideas. I think having Andrew and Carlos at once would be fun because they're just such good buddies. And you still haven't talked to Andrew. You haven't talked to Andrew since his main event run either, which is pretty
true. Yeah, he had a deep run. That would be a good one.
He was like chip leader on day 6, and then.
Have you hung out with Carlos lately? Have you?
No, I haven't seen him.
Okay.
Right now he's at I think he's at the circuit stop in Carolina.
Okay.
So
Cool.
he's probably seeing KB and a few, he's got his little circle of friends wherever he goes. So I'm not sure, but
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I figured out a way to bet a stock today.
okay.
I was always pretty sure this was how you do it, but I called the company and made sure that I placed the bet right, and I did. And what's interesting about this bet is basically I'm looking at the patterns, I'm looking at the graphs just like I do with all the other stocks, but this bet is designed so that I believe there's probably about, if I had to put a percentage on it, I would say there's a 60% chance that this stock is going to go up, and there's a 40% chance that the stock is going to go down. Now, I placed a bet so that if it goes down, now if this stock goes down and it goes down 4 to 5%, all bets are off. It could fucking tank. It could go up. I have no idea. Right? If it goes up, I think it's very likely that it'll keep going up and the stock will probably raise. It's an $18.50 stock. I think it'll go up another couple of dollars. Right? All this happening in the next 2 to 3 months. But if it goes down, it's going to happen in the next week. Right? And so I was able to place a bet where if it goes down 5%, I sell it. I lose 8% of my principal. So I keep 92%. I keep over 90% of my principal. If it goes up, at that point, I just watch the stock and then I cash out when I'm comfortable.
How is this different than, are you like hedging a bet? Like, so you're not actually buying stock, you're betting on whether it goes up or down pretty much, right?
Pretty much. These are called options.
Right. Okay.
And so you can set a stop loss so that, you don't have to be in front of the computer when this is happening. This is all running in the background.
Basically, this is a giant Wall Street bookie who's taken like a piece of letting everyone bet to supposedly like protect themselves, but like juicing them. Is that
exactly. And you can set expirations on these. So you can set an expiration for the end of the day. You can set an expiration for the end of the week. You can set an expiration for a month or 5 months from now. And the longer the expiration, the more you got to pay. So the more it's got to go up, but you've got a lot more time. But if it doesn't sell by the expiration, then it'll auto sell and you pay the VIG.
What does your mentor feel about the options? Is this something he taught, or is this something you've studied on your own?
This is something he's taught, and this is I've basically taken the principles that he's taught me and applied them, but on a longer scale, not just at the end of the day.
Okay.
And I was talking to him about this, and he's like, as long as you have the foundation, like every guy kind of finds his niche, and some guys find their niche, like Fridays are crazy. Like it's going up and down and stuff. So I don't really touch them on Fridays, because that's kind of what he's taught me. But he's like, there's guys that only work one day a week and they do it Fridays and they're able to make money there. So it's whatever like niche or part of it that interests you that you just focus on and it's.
Well, you talked about how draining it could be to be constantly looking at the market. So for you to do the futures or whatever, it makes maybe a little more sense from that respect. You do your work and then you can hopefully sit back and prosper. Is that part of it?
It feels to me more like passive income. Like I do the research, look at the financial statements, look at the patterns, and you spend 2 to 3 hours finding one, and then when you find that one, you research it and check all the boxes, and then fire, and it's done. And you kind of put it into the auto system, and you have little alerts that come up when it gets up to a certain price, and you're like, okay, there we go. I need to watch this over the next week or 12 hours or whatever, and then you fire or not. It's a fun game. It's a fun game.
It sounds like gambling to me.
It is. It is.
I mean, how is this different than blackjack? I mean, the edge has got to be so razor thin for a guy who knows how to count cards. But I mean, I guess as long as you're betting on the future, you have. You don't own anything with the options though.
Not really. I mean,
guess you own a betting slip.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Your own, yeah. The whole thing should be banned, whatever it is. I mean, I
hope it never is.
Guess,
This is a fun game.
I guess I should know something about it before expressing outrage. But yeah, this just sounds like some monstrous game that a bunch of billionaires have come up with to.
It probably is
to get suckers to give them some money. Oh yeah, here you bet. But it's basically they're juicing you. If it goes down 5%, you lose more than 5%. You lose 8%.
You do.
So that's where the guys who run these services obviously make their money. So they're taking.
Of course, it's no different than the casino that's charging you a rake when you sit down and play a cash game or 12% for a tournament. You got to make up the rake.
The whole options thing could be. It seems collusion would be much easier to do here, or much greater incentive for the option traders to fuck with people. But I got no clue, Steve. I'm just babbling. But
I don't know. I'm not moving the line anyway. One way or another. It's the billionaires that are managing hedge funds that are buying these things that are influencing it. You're just trying to guess which way they're going to go. Basically, all it is.
You're preparing for a marathon, Steve, and you still have time to do this. It's pretty amazing.
It's fun. I've been doing the football pool too. We're almost to the end of the season.
Survivor pool?
Not a survivor pool, but a
fantasy pool, fantasy league.
Fantasy, yeah. I'm probably going to break even in that. I came out in the middle of the pack. There's a consolation prize, and unless I get unlucky the next 2 weeks, I should get a little bit more of my money back. The other one I'm talking about is this football pool where you pick the teams, you pick the games every single week, and you got to pick them against the spread. And my brother came up with this mathematical system where there's 172 entrants, and he's in second, and I'm in 10th, and I'm just following the math. And he's been doing it. He did it 2 years prior, and he cashed both times. And he basically wanted to test his system, So he's doing it. I'm doing it. He's doing it a little bit different, which is the reason we're not in the same place. He watches a hell of a lot more football than I do, and he puts his opinion on these as well as uses the math. I'm just following the algorithm.
Okay.
And it's pretty impressive, dude. I want to join more of these and have 3 or 4 of them every week instead of just one, because then you have 3 or 4 rolls of the dice instead of just one. And, with as many games as there are over the entire season, luck is a lot less of a factor,
God, Steve, it'd be tiring to spend all day with you. Your mind's always racing about this. No, there is. Obviously, we know the fantasy sports, there's money. We've seen Mark and a few other poker guys stop playing poker just because that's so lucrative.
Yeah.
That's kind of a different, that's like kind of almost playing cash games poker, I think, because the house is raking you, but you're also playing against bad players. So I guess it's similar in these leagues here. People are just not paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, really, looking down at the bottom of the list, I mean, it really is quite amazing. I'm keep scrolling up to find the first guy that's doesn't have a losing record.
I wanted to ask what the algorithm is, but I don't know what an algorithm is. So this specific one, I think it's a guy named Algo from the old neighborhood.
I mean, the bottom 50 people don't even have a winning record. Right. Well, that's it's like better than a poker tournament. There's people that are buying lottery tickets that just have no chance of winning.
How is that? I mean, if you're picking games against the spread, I mean, isn't there always a joke every year, like Joey the chicken, or there's always some farm animal that somebody uses to pick games and they do better than half the betting population? No.
Well, the beauty of this is that you get the spread on Tuesday, and that's the one you're betting on. But then you have 5 days worth of shit that can happen. Okay. Like a quarterback can get injured, or their star running back sprains his ankle, and the line moves from -2.5 to -6.5. So that, but you're still betting on the -2.5.
So yeah, whatever your original bet is locked in. So basically that's you're trying to bet early before like the experts move the line.
No. The experts set the line on Tuesday. So there's 7 or 12 guys in Vegas that decide what this is going to be.
Right.
And they decide that Chicago is a favorite at home against Green Bay. And say they set the line at -3. That comes out Tuesday. Now they submit it to the betting public, and everyone can bet on it and do whatever the fuck they want. And if a whole bunch of people think that Chicago is good, they'll bet Chicago -3. Then it goes Chicago -3.5 because they got so much money on that side. They got to cover the other side.
Right.
Then it goes -4. Then it goes -5. And the reason it keeps going that way is because their star running back and one cornerback both got injured. The second string guys are in. They're both rookies. You have no idea how they're going to do.
But everybody has this information. I'm confused. So you're jumping on these point changes before anyone else is?
No. The line comes out on Tuesday, but you don't actually place the bet until an hour before the game starts.
Okay.
So you have all that information of when the line opened. The line you're betting is Chicago -3, but Aaron Rodgers went out and he's not playing on Green Bay.
This sounds
so now
like
all of a sudden Chicago is going to be even a bigger favorite than -3. They're going to be like -6.
I'm confused.
But you can still bet -3. So you bet -3 before the game starts.
So this particular league, they give you out the point spread at the beginning of the week.
Yes.
And then all you do is just bet the point spreads at the end of the week. And a lot of people aren't even looking. They're just they don't even know that the lines have changed.
Exactly.
Well, that's not a brilliant skill. This is a dopey league with a bunch of people who obviously just lighting money on fire.
And there's fucking hundreds of these, bro. It's
okay.
It's free money is what I'm saying.
Right? Yeah, this is like there's a couple sports bettors there. People talk about sports betting, of course, all day at the casino, and I really don't know much about it. But I know there's a couple of guys, again, they probably break even and just they beat the rake doing this. Who knows? But it's somehow there's some site which basically you want to see what the smart money's doing. When I said professionals, I didn't mean the people who set the line. I meant like the professional gamblers who kind of you can follow the smart money quotes maybe and then kind of see where the lines are going to get pushed. So anyways, these guys they basically try to know what the point spread is going to move between when they make the bet and line. So they'll put it at 3, but where all the different factors, they study this website where, the history of where the line goes here and there. They're buying it at 3, so they get it at 3.5. So they're getting an extra half point on game day kind of shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But basically razor thin edges where you're trying to get those, you pick games and you're getting hopefully 2 or 3 a weekend where you're you get an extra point, I guess, the way they would probably put it.
Yeah.
But this sounds, even more dramatically. But not a lot of football lines will change by 3 points over the course of a week, right? That's pretty rare. That's like a major.
No, it's rare. But when you do, what the beauty of these is that you have one game per week where you can bet 5 points. So when the line moves like that and Aaron Rodgers is out for broken collarbone, nobody saw that on Tuesday or whatever his injury is, right? And the line moves like that, you can make that game worth 5 points. And the line that you were just mentioning, I didn't know this either before I started doing this, but going from 3 points to 3.5 is when you put that in a dollar value, it's no different than me handing the casino $1 and them handing me $1.21.4. For every time, if you can get it at 3, but it goes to 3.5, that's literally worth $1 and is literally worth 21.4 cents for every dollar. So if you're a professional gambler and you're betting, 1% of your roll on every bet, and your roll's $500,000, that's $5K, and you multiply that times 1.214, and you'll get you make some money.
Yeah.
The other one is 2.5 to 3. That's a huge move. And it's because 3 points is very common in football because that's what field goals are based around.
Sure.
And That's also worth 21.4. Other values that are not that much would be things going from like 12 and a half to 12. That may be worth 5 cents on the dollar or something. It's not very much. But those are the two biggest moves: 2.5 to 3, and then 3 to 3.5.
I would just think that playing this perfectly still, but there are such a thing as professional gamblers. I mean, technically that's what's on my W-2, but I don't, I play poker. But there are guys who supposedly win at sports betting every year.
Yeah, I think the big part of it is like, some of what Alex is talking about in his cash game classes, he's like, the most money is going to be at home games. It's not going to be in the casino. And I'm like, he's fucking right. Every time I played at a home game, it's unbelievably fucking soft. And you got to interject yourself in that, and it's no different with this. Like, you're, only as good as your competition. And when the competition doesn't even know that the lines are changing, like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, okay, just playing that game.
I know you're not a movie guy, Steve, but just quickly recommend Molly's Game. Have you heard of that? This kind of old news for the poker players.
Oh, no. I like the movies and stuff. I've seen Molly's Game. Very good.
Yeah, I've seen it. Great movie, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I liked it anyways.
I can't remember the actress's name.
About Jessica Chastain's tits in your face every 5 seconds. I like that aspect of it too.
Yeah. This gal sets up a poker game where guys come in and, it's basically a home game, but they play for ridiculous.
Well, the rich, it was big news because of the rich and the famous, because she was dealing with Tobey Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio and all that crew. But anyways, I like the movie, but it's very much about it's kind of a business class too, and how to run a home game. Like you would probably appreciate that aspect of it,
Yeah.
But I was going to say there's supposedly there's a lot of good home games around here. I never really pay attention, but there's people I haven't been seeing. They're like, oh, they're playing this game, that game. I just don't have a bankroll for that, even though I would have a personality perhaps that people would enjoy at the home game.
Well, what are the home game buy-ins?
From what they're just always wild, and it's really like at a casino. I mean, if I buy in, once I'm up 1,500, I'm going to kind of knit it up a little bit,
Okay.
I just think they run you out of the room if you're not giving action. I might not give enough action, which is kind of, but I don't know. Yeah, it depends. The one game I know that was described is a big game. So okay. It's an uncapped game.
Wow.
An uncapped game is somebody's putting 20,000 on the table, so or more.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, most of the home games that I have been invited. Went to one which was 1-2. But again, everybody's gambling and rebuying, and within 2 hours, of course, there's potentially $5,000 on the table or something, even if it's a $200 buy-in. Triple it 4 times. I think I did okay that night. I think I made like $400 in 5 hours and left. And there's another one someone tried to invite me to, but for like I've said, my generally non-trustworthy nature. All I need to do is hear one person getting hung up held up at a home game. Happened to one guy I know I play with all the time. I don't want no part of it. But I'm sure they're very profitable. I should definitely be like keeping an eye on that sort of thing. But right now it's just I just don't have money. I figure finally I'm in a groove. I play, these red chip games and grind out a living. And until I have more money, I can't really.
Well, even the 1-2 one there, I mean, it's not a sample size that we can really do, but $400 in 5 hours, that's pretty good hourly.
Yeah.
He did mention the robbing thing though. And he said, get with ones that have never been robbed and have been around for a long time.
Right.
He'd never been robbed, but one of his buddies had. And, so yeah, I guess that's a risk you take, but
I think I don't know if we had Alex on, he was talking about this kind of, like he carries a dummy roll in his pocket.
Oh,
you ever heard that?
No, that's pretty smart.
Where I guess there's a lot of people do this kind of talk about it, but I mean, I don't know how much he had, but like he'll have a backpack with say, 25,000 and then you have a wallet in front that has, an expired credit card and $300.
Yeah. Okay.
Dummy roll or whatever.
See, I was thinking a roll of $1 bills with like a 50 on the outside and a rubber band. So it just looks like a fucking wad, but it's really like $73.
No, this is just separating your money, and like the dummy roll is where somebody thinks they've gotten your money, but they haven't.
Yeah. Okay. I've heard about that when you're traveling, doing that with a cell phone, having like a crap cell phone and a crap wallet, like you said, with the expired credit card and a note that said "got ya."
Right.
But I haven't done it. I haven't done it.
Yeah, so I'm eager to see what. I didn't even know I know he played cash back in the day, but I'm sure, like you said, he's such a perfectionist. I'm sure it's good stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. You should go through it. I'll get you the link. Yeah, but you said you have a couple of hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just see what these hands are here.
Let's just get right into it.
Why not? This was just kind of interesting. This hand, I think, was I was going to say I want to talk about bankroll, but I was it's kind of a weird little thing going on here. We got a guy who's a massive whale, a lot of money, major action, and it's like we're playing 2-5 the other day, $800 cap, and he's down like 6,000, and he's like, I want to put 10,000 on or I'm leaving. He was kind of waiting. There's only like a couple guys who can really play with him. There's only, it's a small card room. There's only like 3 or 4 regulars who are capable of pulling 20,000 out and put it on the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyways, he was here during the day, and it was, the game became uncapped, and, but I started chipping up, but then all of a sudden, there wasn't just the daytime people, the night crew started coming in, people who just like lay 15K on to start the game. And pretty soon, obviously it's an uncapped game and it's big. And, I'm like the shorter stack. So I was down in this game down to 3,000. Okay. I mean, into the game for 3,000 with like 1,500 in front of me. And then I got a double up. So anyways, but it is like, okay, I've got even here. Like, should I be getting out of here now? Because to me, lose 3,000 a game is like a lot right now. So, yeah. So, that's 4 buy-ins. But anyway, but I'm like, oh, this game's too good. I got to stick around. But this has had I think we've talked about the situation before. There's times where I'm in like the greatest game ever, but it's just like, okay, I bought it for 1,500. I have 5,000. I mean, what the fuck you want me to do? Especially if I'm coming off a losing streak, it'd be so nice to. I had one buddy he was in Vegas away, and I'm giving him the info, the lowdown on this game, and talking about some of the hands and how crazy it is. He's like, I want half your action, and you're not leaving.
Yeah.
Basically, just go for the fences here. Who cares if you lose 3K? This is the kind of game you can leave with 25K and cover 2 or 3 months expenses.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know if this preamble is really pertinent to this hand, but this is kind of what I just now. Normally I just go in and I have a game to play. It's pretty straight. But now there's all sorts of the bigger games are so much better. It's like, geez, do I just go in there and buy short for 1,000, try to double up, blah blah blah. But anyways, in this hand, I am under the gun folds, and I have 2 red 10s, and I have $3,200. And this is just a 5-5 game now, no straddle.
Okay.
Eventually, it'll become 5-5-10, but it's an uncapped 5-5. That's an open.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. This was a straddle game here. I'm looking at it now.
Oh,
so I was effectively under the gun. Under the gun was straddling. And with pocket 10s, I raised to $30.
Okay.
A lot of times, my normal raise size there is like 40. Probably in most games.
Say 35, 40,
but again, this is a little tweak. There's this one guy who's, like I said, who's I don't like saying whale or fish. I never use that. I would just say he's the action. But he 3-bets like all the time, with just about anything. So I save myself, even though it will be 3K effective, and technically, if I made it 40 and he made it 250 or something real big, I can still call.
Yeah.
But I was kind of downsizing my opens a little bit, just so playing post flop is a little cheaper because I'll be calling 3-bets so much.
Okay.
So it folds to the button. I think we're playing like 5 or 6 handed here. Folds to the button, and he makes it 130, which of course is what I'm expecting. He has $31,000 in front of him.
Okay.
So, and I had
what would you say we have? 15?
3,200.
Oh, 3,200. Okay. And what'd you say he makes it? 130?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just looking. This game, this is the most straightforward hand in the history of poker. Well, not I mean, but it's kind of interesting. He makes it 130.
Mm-hmm.
The next, it folds back to me.
Okay.
And I'm calling here.
Yeah.
The only way to play this hand, I think. Against
maybe we're just jumping through it, but yeah, I like your reasoning for opening small, because if he's really 3-betting that often, then you keep the stack to pot ratio better going to the flop. And I don't see any reason to, because you could 4-bet here, but then you got to fold to his shove, and the way you described him, you do not want to do that.
Yeah, you might have to call his shove, actually, because
well, okay, maybe you do, but
what he's
I don't
got
want to do that with tens,
right? Yeah, you don't really want to get.
Yeah, let's see 70% of our hands and make a decision then.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I might only be kings, aces, and kings with re-raising. I might even flat ace, king, and queens here.
Yeah, I probably would as well.
You just want to avoid flipping with the guy, and that's how I actually got down. I sat down and bought him for 1,500, and immediately got in ace king, and this was actually a pretty funny hand. Just to go back, it's like he 3-bet, I 4-bet with ace king, he 5-bet, I 6-bet, and he had already had 1,100 in and tanked with only 400 more to go, getting like 7 or 1. And it turns out he had pocket fours. I had ace king. We ran it twice, and I lost both. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, at this point, if I had queens, I guess I 4-bet and get it in. But
okay,
yeah, basically, you're trying to avoid high variance situations here and just have the nuts. You know what I mean? But he raises, I call, and the flop is
290 in the pot, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The flop is ace 10 8, and there's 2 spades.
Do you remember the spades?
The ace and the 10 of spades.
Okay, ace 10 of spades, 8x, and we've got 2 red 10s for middle set. Action is on us with 290 in the pot. Yeah. Now, what are his tendencies on when he's 3-bet? Is he very likely to c-bet? Is he likely to raise?
Yeah, he usually, if he 3-bets, he's blasting away. But I don't know. Some of the hands if I were to go through the hands I played, it's hard to I can't decipher what he's doing.
Okay.
Smarter people can. There's like a lot of spots we've seen similar hands, me and my buddy discussing, where he'll call a 3-bet and then with a weak hand and hit just like a small part of it and just bet, lead out into it.
Okay.
Like if you 3-bet it, you know what I mean? So it's like, what is the purpose of that? Is he turning a value hand into bluff? Why not bluff catch? And you know what I mean? There's just he's just doing a lot of weird stuff. His poker 101 stuff is way off.
Okay.
But but if you're going to play with him all the time, you have to see in which way it's off, obviously. So
and when he's 3-bet, do you think he's kind of all over the map as well, or is he a lot of suited broadways, all pairs, everything down to 6-5 suited? Is that all suited aces? Does that sound right?
I think you got to kind of sort of see how he's doing. If he's winning a bunch of hands and he's up, then he's 3-betting 6-deuce off.
Oh wow!
Or if his stack starts going in the wrong direction, maybe he'll tighten up a little bit.
Okay, and do you remember if he's got 31K in front of him? I'm assuming he's
probably even. I don't know. He was down. He was down quite a bit, and it's hard to say because he's always just. There's one hand he lost it was like a 5 or 6K pot, and he had I think 20K with him to start the hand and lost 3K. But then he looked over and had some guy covered him. So even though he had 17K in front of him, he was pissed off and went to the window to get 10 more K out of his bank.
Okay.
Interesting dude, man. I don't know. He's a young good. He's having fun playing poker.
Okay.
Hanging out with the dudes. But obviously, right away in every circumstance. But it is kind of when you talk about range. How often will he c-bet? Obviously, in this hand against every single villain, we're always saying, "How do we get our chips in?"
Yes,
we want to get all our chips in. against this villain. So you have to think about that a little differently. Maybe try to think how he thinks.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm wondering if his range is super wide, like you said, like he could be three betting if he's just on a roll with 6 deuce offsuit, then we may be better off checking here because his range is so wide that we kind of need him to do the betting for us, like you said. If it's maybe a little bit tighter and it's like broadways and all suited aces and pairs like that and suited one gappers, so jack nine and 9-7, and think of all the suited aces. I mean, you have ace deuce suited twice, and now we got an ace on the board, so we can get value from that. All the broadways, so you got like king queen, king queen jack, king jack, all of those in there.
Well, if he's raising 80% of the deck, Steve, it'll take a while us to go through all the combos he has here.
Yeah, I guess I'm visualizing the Equilab, and it's either going to be pretty heavy in the upper left corner with all the broadways and all the suited aces, and I don't know. I like a lead.
Well, he's probably raising every ace. So that's what I was thinking. First of all, yeah, he might be three betting a little less against me. I think he recognizes I'm a little tighter than the other players.
Okay.
And I'm sitting on a smaller stack. So maybe I don't know how might tweak his range just a little bit there. But yeah, that's pretty much the question here is what's the best way to get into this? I thought of leading like check raising. Check raising would be the standard play against a lot of people here and just hope they have an ace and think you're on a draw.
Okay.
Like that would be like here against other guys, you don't really want to, like big ego guys I would lead into here. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like guys who I describe as an egomaniac because they're just, they don't want to, this is my pot. But yeah, in a multi-way pot, I'd lead in here. I don't know, heads up. I think I'm always going to be check calling or check raising for the most part in this spot. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's correct.
I was thinking lead just because I think like with all the broadways and all the aces,
you're saying
I think he hits, and we might get a raise out of him here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he might raise jack queen off here. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I don't know about that, but he's probably, maybe he's just calling with the aces. But any spades, I think this guy's probably going to raise all jack nines, all 9-7s. Yeah. Then you got all the gut shots, queen nine, queen jack.
So are you saying you're betting here for protection because you don't want to see him a free card as much as anything else?
No, I'm betting for value, hoping to get raised. I guess a little charge him if he's got a flush draw. He may not bet a flush draw. What if he's got 6-7 of spades? Would he check that back? Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I think the question is here. We're like, how do we get our stack in if he has nothing? Like that's.
Oh, I was thinking, how do we get our stack in if he's got something like an ace?
Right. Well, that's not going to be very hard, Steve.
Okay. Really? You think he'll get in 320 big blinds with just a lone pair?
Well, we'll have to see, Steven.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, that was my, like, if I check raise, he's going to read that as strength and fold. But if I lead into him, like, yeah, he might not accept like the strongest line, like the check raise is pretty strong.
Yeah.
But,
he might be able to fold ace-7 offsuit there when you check raise him on the flop, and then I feel like we miss a lot. But he's definitely calling 200 when he has ace-7 offsuit, and he might bet 130 if he has ace-7 offsuit. I don't know, but I like a lead.
Right. Well, if we bet, it's hard to get our whole stack in a little bit. I guess we could bet. We could bet 200 on the flop, bet big, bet 600 on the turn, and then we can up our sizing pot. That probably just about gets it. 280 on the flop. Let's see, 840 on the turn. If he calls, yeah, we can get it all in. Just going pot here. If we bet out. I check.
Okay.
And he bets 200.
Oh, All right. I stand corrected. Okay. Button 200. All right. So
he's got a lot of nothing. He's got a lot of nothing.
yeah.
Sure. Against most spots, I'm never slow playing aces on, sets on ace high boards.
Mhm.
I'm just hoping they have an ace usually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if somebody C bets here and they don't have an ace that you call, they're not going to be barreling that often.
Yeah, you're giving them 2 free cards because you're not going to get anything more, and they're sitting there with deuces, and you're giving them a chance to own you. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So basically, I was just treating this like interesting. Well, I was going to check raise.
Okay.
Like this is a guy who will barrel probably most turns. But again, I'm trying to get stacks in, so that's the problem.
If you get lucky here too, and he's got like ace king, if you check raise him here, then he's probably re-raising you, right?
Possibly, but my point is here, if we just check call here, which is tempting because he has so much crap in his range, right? He misses this flop 80 to 90% of the time.
Okay.
Total nothing. Well, not total. I mean, you know what I mean? Of course, this guy he might consider king 9 with a king of spades to be, something. Yeah, I guess he's more like a 3-bit. Like, again, how do I get our stacks in with air is more how I was thinking here. Okay. And that's the problem. It's not like he's just, if I check call here, it doesn't mean he's necessarily blasting off on every turn. But even if he checks back the turn, then all of a sudden we can't get stacks in. I mean, we can, but it's much less likely. Anyways, I thought I'd check raise, even though he has crap so often, because he's willing to put all his chips in on a bluff. Although this looks obviously very strong for me, and I was not. Yeah, just watching him, he treats these spots as he likes these as a challenge. Oh, someone's raising me. Let's see if they really can stand up to the heat kind of shit,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think. So, I raised to 800. If we were trying to induce a shove, I guess, conventionally you maybe go a little smaller, but I thought I'd make it. I like the idea. This is one of those, maybe, I didn't try to size it up like 770. Like I didn't think about sizing. It's more one of those things. Like I just kind of stared at him for a second, ripped out 8 chips.
Just grab some chips and put them out.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. Basically, he threw out 2 chips, like it, like without thinking.
Yeah. Like whatever.
I just grabbed 8 chips. Okay, that's how I play. I don't know if this impacted the hand at all, but he shoved. And
did you cream pants when he did that?
No, I'm a negative person, Steve, because I saw saw the ace on the turn, and I'm like, okay, what's his kicker?
Uh-huh.
And then the 7 on the river, but he had just 9-8 off for bottom pair.
Wow. Well done, sir.
So it wasn't a genius by me, but I guess this was part of the point of the story. I left a few minutes later.
Okay.
I was into the game for $3K. Now I had $6K.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a week's wages for me, Steve. I had to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
That was kind of painful.
Yeah. Now, could you have? Okay, so you left $3K up, right?
Yeah.
Could you have put $2K in your pocket and put $1K, or I'm sorry, put $5K in your pocket and put $1K on the table and played with?
No.
No.
Well, I mean, I would have to quit the game and come back in an hour. Yeah, you can't go south. You can't go south. No.
Yeah.
Uncapped game, you can go north, but you cannot go south. I mean, who knows? I could have reached out and said, "Boys, I'm poor these days. Do you mind if I?" It's funny. This guy who I won this pot, he's such a great guy though. After the ace, king, and 4's hand,
mm-hmm.
I was debating whether to leave or not. I'm like, just give me a minute. And he was very apologetic. He says, "Listen, I'll give you 2,000, dude, and I just want 35% of profits." Which is like the most ridiculous deal. I wouldn't take that because it's kind of stealing,
Uh-huh.
But No, I told him, I said, dude, I could be broke any day though. You'll be the first person I hit up. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to leave, Steve. But yeah, that wouldn't be a horrible idea to recycle in there. It gives me a chance to tell my Atlantic City Borgata 20,000 in cash in 36 hour stories again, Steve, for the 100th time. I think I told you that. Basically, I was doing that recycler. I went and played 5-5, bought it for 500. Ran it up to 1,200. Went over to 510, ran it up to, and I did that rotation 3 times.
Wow.
Going to 5-5 with a 500 cap game, making like anywhere between 300 and 1,000, then going to the 510 where you bought, I forget what the cap was, probably buying in for 1,500, 2K, running it up to like 6 or 7K every time. And then just going back. And then this is what I was at. And this was horrible. This was right before I moved out to California, where I thought I was good at cash game poker.
Yeah.
And I was just cash games. But it is like when you first step in a card room and you start 3 and 4 bit 5 betting, you got basically people sitting and waiting for hands. I think a lot. That's like the optimal way to play against me. And here, of course, every time they fought back, I probably just had a set or something, I was stealing a shit ton. But yeah, anyways, but that's what I did. Like 3 times I quit the 5-10 to go back to 5-5. I'm like, oh, I gotta, preserve this a little bit. But there wouldn't be a bad way to conduct myself in the
I'm just he had a whole section on minimum buy-ins, like buying in short stacked, and I mean it's an extremely easy way to play, but I was just thinking you might be able to employ a strategy similar to that. In these games where it's just like you just have no decision after the flop, you know what I mean? Like you just get it in right after the flop or not, and you could secure but I didn't think about that. That might be bad for him to hey, you guys mind if I pocket 4K here and play with 2? I didn't think of that.
No, maybe at a home game they'll let you stick around if you're like a special bit of action or well beloved, but not in any casino card game that I know of are you allowed to go south anyways.
Yeah.
But I actually had a lot of hands. The same guy a couple nights earlier, it was kind of the same deal. We're playing like a low stakes game. He said, put all the money on the table. And I had in that game, that was very similar. I was into that game for even more, like 3,600, which is like every dollar I usually bring to a casino. I usually only bring in like 4 or 5K have there.
Yeah.
So this was fucking tension city. And I was down like $800 in front of me and ran it up to like 4,300. And so I was, I quit when I was up 700 or whatever it was. But this was fucking living on the edge. This is when you get beyond your bankroll. It's kind of scary.
You know what I've done, and without realizing it, I remember sitting at a 2-3 table being up like 1,200-1,300, cashing out, getting something to eat, taking a nap in the car, and then coming back in and resetting.
Right.
And it takes 45 minutes or an hour, but really my hourly is $19 an hour at 2-3, so whatever. But I secured 900.
Sure.
So
it's kind of, as I hate it when people do it to my game, the 2-5, because there's a few guys there. There's a couple of these. It's the smart way to go, but you just can't have everybody doing it other than the game dies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm always the schmuck because like when there's the 2 lanes merging in the highway and there's still guys going like 70 miles per hour there when everyone's merging just to get past the edge. I'm like, there's got to be the one schmuck who doesn't move. So I'm like pretty adamant against recycling in the 2, but a lot of times the main 2-5 game is terrible with just a bunch of nits and a bunch of pros.
Yeah.
But the must move game, you look at the board and you see some spectacular names there.
Yeah.
So we have, the Irish guy who's there, and they're just experts at it, and it's just annoying. But they're doing it right. If your goal is to chase every dollar there, then a lot of times you'll be quitting this game and running this game and going back over here and and I don't like being that kind of pro, but like I said, I'll probably be doing more of it.
Alex had an entire video on that subject as well. So I feel like a fucking broken record. You got another hand?
Let me see.
Okay.
Let me see which one is interesting, Steve. I'll see anything.
Game selection. Don't be afraid to walk up. Get up and walk away. 2-5 again.
Give me a second here, Steve. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think what is the best hand to show here. Okay, this is a hand my buddy told me I played terribly the other day. So let me just fuck Steve. I'm sorry. What else can we talk about? Let's mock somebody other than you or me for once. Oh, this is what I wanted to talk about too here. Someone's getting their ass kicked soon, Steve.
Oh,
I don't know who. I don't know who, but it's feeling in a set. No, the funny thing is when I'm like here, I kind of maybe have a different persona in like live poker. I'm like always kind of like I'm half a schmuck, but I'm playing as the full schmuck. And if people like, I want to be the one like non-ego person there. You know what I mean? Like if somebody's like, you suck at poker, this or that, I'm always like, I'm doing, doing my best, buddy. I'm like, it must be real horrible to lose to me then, I'm making sure. But I think it's gotten to the point though that I've let so many people do this, where I'm like the guy getting mocked. There's a couple guys the other day. I've never even met this guy. And somebody's telling a story. I'm like, oh, well, when I do something stupid, it's like, it's good to have this guy around to straighten me out. And this guy I don't even know is like, he just set me off. Maybe something about his face. He's like, it sounds like a full-time job keeping you from being stupid or something like that. So maybe I've noticed there's other reasons. Like, it's like, you know what? I've let this go too far. Like it's my own fault that, if you're not standing up for yourself, like,
the self-deprecating humor, like now guys that don't even know me or have rapport are taking shots.
Right. Yeah. It's like I do this shtick with a few people and now it's like, there's like this, random dude there the other day is like, I don't know, man.
I've felt a little bit of that too. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
From me or from you or for you? Or you just mind? Yeah.
No, just in general, kind of in public. And it's like, hang on.
Well, I
just met this guy and he's already like, who the hell are you?
Yeah. Well, kindness, a lot of people just see as a weakness. You know what I mean? Like if they don't think you're going to get back in their face. I mean, I hate to say this, like this, I don't know where this like ego surge is, whatever you want to call it. But, it's gotten worse recently where it's just like, I got to be a man here and just fucking stand up for myself. And, if it's like, I don't want to be choking people in the bathroom, but it's better than sitting there all day and letting people know that you could, I don't know. It's kind of interesting that I feel like the card room, that's one way it's changed where I'm like noticing it's not just a few guys are kind of chumming with or, dumping on me. It's not like it's way too many now. Anyways, but I let that happen. So the only way to change course for everyone's benefit, really. Drop the hammer, Stevie.
Yeah. Rule with an iron fist.
Oh man, I'm really stoned now, Steve. I thought I wanted it to kick in like an hour ago for humorous purposes, but I just went back from my high school reunion. We didn't talk about that, did we?
No.
I don't know if there's anything really too interesting.
30-year
reunion. Yeah.
Right on.
I got a couple high school buddies I knew who were just crushing life. You'd be like multi-millionaires,
Good for them.
One guy is started a sports, one of the biggest talent agencies. He started their sports division. It's kind of, he used to represent athletes and now it's like, you can tell he's where the real money is. It's like, he'll represent his agency in getting like Amazon to hire them to try to get the naming rights for a stadium or something like that.
Wow.
So now you're negotiating just these gazillion-dollar deals between corporate entities. And this is, he's a sports agent, but it's, corporate stuff in the sports world.
Good for him. That's cool.
I don't know if there's anything too interesting, but it really could have been like our junior year of high school. Like the beers got cracked at like 8 a.m. You know what I mean? Like, cause it was basically like a 3-day bender kind of thing.
Oh, that's cool.
But it was good. It was fun. Uh-huh. We got there's only 100 people in my high school class and supposedly like over 60 had committed to it.
Okay.
But only like 30 some showed up, which was kind of weird. And a lot of them were like the local ones who still stayed.
They're still in town.
So I thought that was maybe an interesting, there's all sorts of psychic wounds people are carrying around from those days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man,
there's people they just don't want to see. Like they got the ex-girlfriend, whatever. They're married. They know, or there's. I think like the people who probably put a lot of weight are probably self-conscious about who look older than everyone else, probably self-conscious in certain ways.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of little, if you go to your high school reunion or you go to your 20th?
I went to the 10 and I didn't know about the 20th. Like I'm never on Facebook and apparently that's the only avenue they fucking advertised on. Nobody called me. I just didn't even know what happened. I was like, damn it. I will keep track of the 30th though. I remember the year I graduated. I'll add 30 to that and I'll start asking people, say, hey, when you put the post up on Facebook, just text me. Then I'll know.
How was your did you have in your high school yearbook, what your class, what do they call those? The superlatives, like they got the class heartbreaker, best athlete, funniest. Did you have were you the most spirited?
Very close. I was the friendliest.
Friendliest.
Yeah. Shocking, right?
Yeah, that's for you. That's no small thing, right?
Yeah, it was kind of cool. I think I was kind of the chameleon that could, blend in with all the groups and crowds,
Okay.
That was my, it was fun. It was fun. I've always kind of been that way though. I mean, like in 5th grade, I was president of my elementary school. In junior high, I was valedictorian and then co-valedictorian with my buddy the next year, and or runner-up. Like I won it one year, and then he was runner-up, and then he won it the next year, and then I was runner-up, and then in high school, I was just always involved with stuff, and it was fun. I enjoyed school. But then when I went on to college, it was just, man, it felt like you had to take all these classes that you couldn't just take a class in the very specific thing that you were interested in. You had to get all these other general education things that I don't give a shit about, Latin American history in the 1820s, but I got to check a box, it's like,
right.
Anything. So
anything interesting at your 10th? You hook up with was there the one girl in a high school you were in love with, but you never got out of the friend zone kind of thing, and you just showed up at the 10th year, just gave her a swift smack in the ass and let her
open palms,
let her know it's a new day, there's a new sheriff in town, Captain Barton is here.
No, I didn't. I had a girlfriend at the time that we were living together, so that wasn't no, I didn't. But I would have loved to do that at the 20, but I guess it'll have to wait till 30.
Oh, that's right. I did, Steve. I really embarrassed myself once. This is a pretty good story here. Well, I was leading. I had the one girl that I loved in high school for forever there, and it's funny. We actually went out to eat the day after after the reunion, and the day before, me and the high school buddies were drinking in the car during the day, riding around, and I'm like, let's give Jill a call, and of course I loved her, and they're like, oh, so like I said, it was still junior high school stuff. They're giving me shit. I'm like, no. I said, I would like to talk to her now because we're going to be so fucked up tonight. I won't even be able to communicate.
Yeah.
And she shows up. I mean, she's, she looks great, of course. Come in, we'll have fun. And she's really happy to see us. And we get talking. I said something about, she looked really young, and someone's like, wow, you look. And I'm like, well, what do you expect, man? The ex-beauty queen. You think she's going to, because she actually was young Miss Connecticut. Mm-hmm. Won he went to the national pageant and, came in second or third or something. And they're like, because she kept that a secret. She didn't like talking about that. So like, wait, what is this? We didn't know anything about it. And like, Mike, do you know? I'm like, I saw some pics when I snuck into her panty drawer one night. And her son was in the next room. So she's like, shh. And I'm like, then I started talking about how, this thing's going to be great. I'm going to be, I'll be so high. And I can't wait to talk to everybody. And she's like, shh, we're trying to keep my son from, so it wasn't so horrible. It was funny at the time, but, I didn't actually, by the way, raid her panty drawer either, but,
No, but it was
just because I lacked the courage to do so.
Yeah. If you had the courage, you definitely
would have.
If
there was 0% chance of me being caught or embarrassed, she wouldn't have actually had any underwear.
Yeah.
That's not just raid the
You would
panty
have
drawer.
walked out of the house with like a chipmunk with underwear in your cheeks and it's coming out of your socks.
No, that's hiring. That's like hiring a help to pull the dresser out of the yeah. Smell her t-shirts all night. Yeah, that's the kind of person I was back then, Steve. You wouldn't.
Oh, that's great.
No, I was thinking back because we were sharing. I'm admitting some of this stuff, and there was once. I mean, she was not really interested in college. We kind of had something, but she wasn't interested in me, so there's nothing I could do at the time. But when I was like a sophomore in high school. Once I came over, I always came over. I'd hang out with her family even when she was with her boyfriend. Just.
Oh wow!
Wanting to be around. Well, I generally
commitment, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You had no idea. But yeah. One night she's like, I come over and she's like, "Wow, you're so cute when you're sweaty," or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I made a point for like the next 3 years. I never showed up at that house when I wasn't sweating. And I swear to God, there was like a basketball court like a mile up the road from her. Uh-huh. It was like, I mean, not every time, but like there's whatever. There was one time where it was like winter, fucking winter. And I made sure that like went up to the basketball court in the snow with the boots, like running around in circles. And then finally I felt it up. But the funny thing is I'm wearing it's just wintertime. It's freezing. Up with a winter coat and I'm just drenched wet.
Oh, it's great.
I don't have a lick of goddamn common sense, Steve. What can I say?
Oh shit!
So yeah, I could have
the things we do when we're 12 that we think make so much sense. I'll just show up to prom.
Yeah,
having played no less than 48 minutes on the court in my tux because she thinks it's hot when I'm sweating.
Yeah. I mean, I have many other similar stories, sadly, Steve. I was, late to learning things in life. I mean, I'm still.
Oh, we all were.
I know. Yeah. I still know nothing. Interpersonal kind of shit. Anyways, it's pretty terrible. But what can you do? But it's kind of funny. I hadn't seen. I mean, some of these guys are not even on Facebook, which kind of funny. I was thinking about. I know you're not really anti-social media. You just don't waste time on there. Right. You're Twitter 30 minutes a week just to say, kind of check in and say hi to people.
Yeah. I like to follow my followers
but the two guys are real successful. I'm sure you would be you'd be studying them kind of thing, but it is kind of, they were the two with the biggest, like the friendliest too, probably. So friendliness is a great asset. Obviously people like giving them money and putting them in chart, but, yeah, my one buddy is just who I haven't seen forever. Like you can't even find him online hardly. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, I don't believe in any of that. Like no Facebook and shit. And the other buddy was the two successful ones everybody was, I think all my friends are actually really doing what they want to do with life. Yeah. Which is cool. But, yeah, anyways, definitely felt like the youngster there. These guys didn't do social media and just weren't, staggering around stoned in the middle of, winter in Connecticut. But we stayed at this. We all decided to stay at the same inn. We pretty much, there's this inn, Simsbury, Connecticut. 5 days after we left, they had a fire there.
Oh, wow.
I think half of it might have burned down or something. I think they put it out pretty early, but extensive smoke damage, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Oh yeah, you get 1-bedroom fire in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, and you got to paint the entire place.
Yeah, well, this was bigger than that. It was like a big kind of maybe an inn more than a bed and breakfast, I guess, probably. Yeah, yes, yeah. Maybe 20 bedrooms. I don't know.
I'm just giving perspective.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, you got it in before it happened. Well done.
I'm 100%, Steve, a man of honesty here. So I was debating whether I was actually thinking about this story. I'm like, man, I really could come up with a good fictional tale here, add all the elements. Saying I was, hooking up finally with this high school girl that I've been trying to kiss for 43 years when the fire broke out. Some fireman gave her a goddamn ride home. Nature intervened and said no.
Oh, that's great. Well, do you have another hand? Were you able to find another one?
I'm having so much fun with talking to you, Steve. I feel like okay. I'm sorry. Give me a second here.
I got an early morning tomorrow. I think I might come down for that tournament. I think it'll be fun. I've got
Okay,
an appointment at 7:00, and I should be done by like 9.
okay, well, call me or I'll call you at 9 because I'm not sure yet. I have to see how I feel. It's like every time I do, but tournaments are so goddamn fun, man. I just want to. I
They
like
are.
doing them here.
This one's only $40 or 400.
I think so. Yeah, the one tomorrow's 400. Like I say, WSOP.com if you want to look at the. This is yeah. If you look at the schedule, they've already had a couple events. I'd love to play the main event, but I think it starts on Sunday. 1700. A lot of value in those. But I got my son, so I'm not rescheduling that.
Yeah.
So this hand, this is at 2-5. And I am in the hijack with ace queen off, ace of hearts, queen of diamonds. And I have $850 just over the buy-in.
Okay. I'm sorry. What position? Hijack? You said?
Yeah.
Okay. No straddle.
No straddle.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. What's the standard? 20, 25, something like that.
Well, no, it doesn't have, the action hasn't got to me yet. Quickly, there's two limpers in front of me.
Oh, okay.
This is a daytime game. A lot of the kind of old men coffee type, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
So there's a limper, and then the limp UTG1 limps, and then the hijack limps, and we have ace queen here.
Okay. Both OMCs?
The guy to my right is he's loose.
Okay.
Yeah, so he plays a lot of hands, but yeah, more to the loose passive side, I would say.
Okay.
For sure.
And the first limper?
I just said old wreck here, so he's probably he's just never going to put a lot of chips in with that when he doesn't think he has the best hand.
Okay. Okay.
This is a raise, I think, every time.
Yeah. So UTG1 limps, loose passive limps in the hijack. So we're in the cutoff, or
we're in the hijack.
Oh, okay.
He
I thought you
limped
said
the low jack, and then
he limped the low
and we
jack.
raised from the hijack.
Okay, and we're in the hijack with ace of hearts, queen of
diamonds.
I don't know, 35,
again,
40.
If there was ever like an absolute like lunatic to my left here, you could flat just to back raise kind of stuff. I mean, but I think the squeezing here would be, even though the limp is from UTG1, it's not like his range is stronger, or if he's trapping or something like that. So
he's got like 9-10 suited and stuff like that.
We've got a range advantage on both of them. So this is for value and to try to get at some people behind us so we can play these weaker players in position. Yeah, I think I made it 35.
I was going to say 35, 40. I kind of like it a little bit bigger, actually. I think like 45 or something. I mean, like, let's say they all fold. Well, then we win 3.5 big blinds. Uncontested,
right?
Easy, you know what I mean? But okay, all right, 35.
Yeah, I make it 35. Yeah, I think it's kind of funny. I got the one buddy. I don't really, I don't study but I do have a couple people I go with hands over, and one guy is always like, he's always tweaking my bet sizes a little bit. You know what I mean? There's value. I'm always losing just by kind of arbitrarily putting money in the pot. I can say sometimes in this spot I'm going to bet 30, and sometimes I'm going to bet 40. And I couldn't tell you why. One time it's better than the other,
Okay.
Let's see what happens here. The button calls.
Okay.
And it folds to the and the low jack also calls. So we go 3-way to the flop.
Okay.
117 in the pot.
17 in the flop. Okay. And the flop is?
The button, I think, is another kind of loose passive player. I don't have the effective stacks by the main villain. The loose wreck to my right was what I call him here. We are now 600 effective after he called my raise, after he called my 2-bet.
600 from the low jack and the button, and we have 850. Okay. And the button doesn't matter. Okay. And we go to the flop.
And the flop is the Jack of Diamonds, the 8 of Clubs, and the 5 of Diamonds.
Okay.
And the guy to my right, he bets 45.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking we were in the... okay.
We act second. So the hijack makes it 45. I mean, the low jack makes it 45. We're next to act.
And we have the Queen of Diamonds with the Ace of Hearts.
Yeah.
I don't know. A loose passive player leads out after limp calling. I mean, I'd probably just fold.
Yeah, it's a fold. A few people have asked and said it's like, yeah, it's just you just move on to the next hand.
I think so. I think he just has a jack here, so
technically,
or something. Even if he has like 9-10 and you're good, like okay.
I don't know. There's
like
I don't know. There's also the player to act behind me, and a heads up pot. I think I stick around. There is just, of course, a bunch of cards that are good for us on the turn here.
Yeah.
I mean, not the ace, the jack, the ace, the queen, the king of the 10 gives us a straight draw, a diamond, even like a 9, lower straight. I can't, like I said, this is just, the one couple buddies I showed to just were like, this is, you played every street wrong. So I figured this is one to, he makes it 45 and I make it 160. I thought I'm just going to rep the over pair. And I think I'm getting like 8s and 5s to fold. A lot of one pair hands and even jacks. This kind of guy might consider folding. And I wasn't really worried too much about the person behind me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really know the purpose. I think if you weren't going to fold, what would you like? Do you like the flat, or do you kind of like my rationalization for the raise here?
I don't really like the rationalization with the 9, because the only way we can make a straight is if a 10 comes. So there's a 4-card straight out there, which means anyone can fucking see. Like if you have a 7 or a queen, then you got the straight. If the queen comes, you can't be all that stoked because he's got 9-10 in his range.
Well, pretty much, yeah. This is kind of, this qualifies almost as like, this is kind of like a no equity bluff where I'm just trying to bully someone in position because I have the stronger range. Only I can have top set probably, or the over pairs.
I agree, but the diamonds aren't even all that great because there's 2 diamonds higher than ours, the ace of diamonds and the king of diamonds. So I don't necessarily like our backdoor draw there. Yeah, I suppose we could have picked up some equity with a 10 or a king, but those are 2 very specific cards, and I don't know. I kind of only feel comfortable here with an ace. That's not I guess a diamond would be good because then only the king's out there, but I don't know, man. I just.
Well, again, we're not doing this to catch, and
we're doing it to try to blow him off an 8 or a 5. And I guess that logic is okay, but I think he has a lot of jacks here.
I just
think to lead into 2 players and he's loose passive. I don't know, man. When a calling station bets or raises, like they usually got it.
Yeah.
The way you described it.
Right. I agree with all this. And I felt his bet at the time was even, he seemed confident. Yeah. It's just, again, like there's probably going to be just money just is going to flow to you naturally at the table with your good hands where you don't really have to steal chips in these spots. If you wanted to talk about the overall game in your typical red chip games. So this is the kind of hand I play a lot here, Steve. Yeah. I played another one today, actually. I don't know if I wrote down the hand details, but my buddy thought it was pretty interesting. Again, me bluffing in a spot where it just I could be good and I should be just pot controlling my turn. Let's finish this hand.
Okay.
So the button folds and the villain calls.
Okay.
And now the villain has 440 left, and there is 437 in the pot.
7. And what'd you say? He's got 440 left?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And with Ace of Hearts, Queen of Diamonds, we got a board of Jack of Diamonds, 8 of Clubs, 5 of Diamonds. What's the turn?
The King of Spades.
Okay. And actions on villain.
Villain checks.
Nice. Hero checks.
No, I mean, this is the easiest shove in the world, right? I mean, we got the gin card.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
you know what? I didn't
not
think
only
of that.
not only gives us outs, if he does have Jack, even Ace Jack, Jack Queen, he's really just going to be hating life. He never raised Ace King. He probably raises pre with it, or folds to this bet. So we got the gin card to.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. He's folding all 8s and 5s there.
He's now folding all 8s and 5s. We've been denying him equity from some draws too. I guess, we are.
He wouldn't be getting the right price if he had 9-10.
Correct.
Or
even
6-7.
Even a diamond draw.
Even 2 diamonds. Yeah,
if
you're
he
right.
has a
You're
diamond
right.
with a,
Yeah,
I mean,
this is a shove. You're right.
Yeah, it's an easy shove, and I check back.
Okay.
I guess this hand's more just funny than anything else. I don't know. There's lessons to learn, but it's as played. It's a fold on the flop, and if you're not going to fold the flop, you absolutely have to blast the turn. And King of Diamonds on the river, and the villain checks to me. So King, Jack, 8-5 with 3 diamonds.
Yeah. It's less likely that you have a king now. Yeah, the move was a shove on the turn. I don't know. I guess you should.
Again, I don't think, this is not the kind of villain who's going to be ranging me necessarily. It's just going to be, how does their hand look to the board?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So if they had a Jack, that'd be like, he's like, oh, he was already saying internally, oh, on the turn.
Yeah.
And now with the King of the River, he might be saying, oh, his hand's even stronger. I don't know. He checks to me, and I shove, and he insta-mucks a flush, up, face up.
Wow.
So
okay.
I don't know if that's an argument for maybe raising him on the flop, because he's folding. You're going to take him off the hand by the river. You just you're getting to actually put more money in, even when you know you're.
Wait, what was his flush?
6 high flush, 6-3 of diamonds.
Okay.
So he had a flush draw on the flop. He was leading out.
Yeah.
And then called my raise.
Turn.
I mean, when you look at it, I guess it all makes sense. I mean, the check back here. Yeah, I mean, we pretty much beat nothing but 9 and 10.
Yeah.
Or I mean, unless he had just the ace of diamonds somehow, was playing backdoor. Ace 10 of diamonds. Backdoor straight. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's. I do have hands like this though, where there's shit that I can get away with that at least I'm doing against the right people.
Yeah.
Like against, like when I shoved the river there, like, yeah, pros. I'm repping a flush or pretty much a set or trips, which I somehow would have after not having a king on the flop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I thought it was kind of an interesting hand.
Yeah, I'm surprised he. So I guess we just bluff against him always. I don't know.
Well, I think it's probably the opposite. It's just no, you can 3-bet him and just push him off hands in the flop. But usually going for stacks though, you should never be like going to stacks with passive players, unless you have it, probably, because when you have it, they're going to pay you off too much, even when they're kind of scared money, as this guy was. Like I said, here's a spot where I mean, I could have flopped a set, I guess, but wouldn't I? I'd be betting on the turn always. So, but this guy's not even really thinking at that level. It's just, it's like, I do not have the nuts.
Just level one thinking, what is my hand? And that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I should have looked closer, Steve. There are some kind of interesting hands here, but okay. One more actually, because this is played against the same villain where I had the pocket tens. So he's an interesting guy that we already know, right?
Yeah.
This is a previous night, and he's now 2 to my left rather than to my right.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. No, it's not the same. It's a different night, but 2 to my left, pretty much.
Okay.
So he is in the straddle, and I'm in the small blind. I have Jack 10 of hearts under the gun. Min raises. Oh, actually, you know what? We were playing around a dead 20. I'm just looking at this hand again. Now I remember. So it's 5, 5, 10, 20. Pretty ridiculous. Again, this is when the guy who's the axe of the table wants to go bigger and wants to do these kind of shit. You just do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
So there's a dead 20, and then there's a call by the low jack. The button calls, and Jack 10 suited. I'm low probably jack. Flatting here.
The low jack's calling 20. I'm sorry. What was after the low jack?
The low jack and the button each call 20. So at that point, and I'm in the small blind. I might squeeze in some circumstances. I think here, again, you're just trying to make hands with this guy at the table.
Yeah.
So I just decide to flat, and predictably he makes it 120. The big blind folds, and
okay, we make it. We call 20 in the small blind with Jack 10 of hearts, and
goes to the button. Folds to the button. I mean, not to the button, to the straddle. Well, I guess this is. I'm sorry, it's a 3 blind game. No. The 10 is the straddle. The other ones, you can't do double straddle. The other one's a dead right. So he is the straddle, and he makes it 120.
Okay.
And then the guy
who
was
folds to the guy that straddled 20.
No.
Folds to the straddle.
He's the straddler. The straddler it's a 5. When I say 5, 5, 10, 20, the 10 is the straddle.
Okay. What's the
20? 20 is a blind raise.
Oh, so the guy after that has to blind raise to 20.
He's already raised.
Okay.
When the hands start right in front of the table, there's a 5, 5, 10, 20. 20 blind raise means you haven't even looked at your cards yet.
Okay.
We just say dead 20. You're
okay. I'm following the lingo now. All right.
Okay. If it folds, if everybody just says 20, that 20, the original 20 does not get to raise. It's basically like we've all called his raise.
Okay.
So the straddle raises to 20, and then the dead 20 guy calls, and the other 2 players fold, and it gets to me and Jack 10 suit.
The straddle raises to 120.
Yes.
Okay. You said 20. Okay. Straddle raises to 120. The dead straddle calls 120.
Yes.
Low jack
folds, button folds.
On you. Okay. Hero calls.
Obviously easy call. We're giddy to see this deep. Like I think I said, I started the hand with like 2,300. The guy who raised here has 18,000. So that's, again, major discrepancy in between how much money we are putting on the table.
Okay, 410 on the flop.
I see 405 here. I don't know if that's
okay. All right, close enough. 405, and then the
3 players we're playing.
3 players, and tell me the stacks of the players again. We got low jack.
I don't. The low jack and the button already out of the hand.
I'm sorry. The
straddle's got 17,000, and the original raiser or the dead 20 guy, he probably has like 4K. I didn't even write it down here.
Okay. All right. And
we started with 2,300, I think. Okay. 2,300. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Flop queen 10-9 with 2 spades.
Queen 10-9, and which ones are the spades?
The queen and the 10.
Okay. All right. Open ender, middle pair. Action is on us. We're in the small blind. There's 405 in the pot and two guys behind us.
Would you ever lead here?
Tell me about the straddle. He's the whale?
He's the guy with all the money. Yeah,
He's the guy with all
he's the guy from the previous hand with the 9-8 off. However you would like to interpret.
And the guy in the dead 20, how's he?
He's a pro. He's very good.
Yeah. I'm thinking check, but I'm having trouble articulating why. I
think let the button take the betting lead here. When I got a hand, obviously I'm certainly willing to put money into. I mean, if we bet and get raised, we can't fold.
Yeah.
But it could be one of those things where we already have to play for our stacks on the turn with maybe just a pair and a draw or something. I think check is the play here for sure.
Okay.
Probably going to be checking just about my full range there. I don't know. I can't imagine what would I be leading here with. I don't know. I might lead with pocket nines, bottom set here.
Yeah.
You could lead with it. You could probably would lead with the nuts here in 10 king if I had no spade.
King jack, you mean?
King jack, yeah. If I had no spade, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, I check, and surprisingly, they both check behind.
Okay. Bummer. All right. Well, maybe that's good.
The turn is the king of diamonds.
Bingo. All right. Does that put up a second draw?
No.
Okay. All right. So the board now is king, queen, 10, 9, two spades.
We have the second nuts.
We got the second nuts. We got the straight, jack, 10 of hearts. Interesting. 405 in the pot. Yeah, I'd bet. Sizing. I guess we're trying to get called by two pair here. Trying to get called by a set. Like, why would they fold them?
I mean, you're betting to get the guy with call with the worst. So yeah, I think you definitely can get someone to call here with just one pair even.
Okay.
Possibly. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, we're deep. They might want to just see what I'm doing if I bet. I liked the check here personally.
Really?
Because I just think we're, again, very villain dependent. If I was going against a couple pros, they're probably not just going to rep the jack unless they have absolute crap.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But they're always just checking back one pair of hands kind of. So a lot of times I would feel compelled to bet this against a lot of people just to get some money in there. But I thought the button here would be betting at it, with some frequency.
You mean the guy from the previous?
I'm sorry. Yeah, the straddle. Yeah,
the straddle. Okay.
So I just check, and the straddler bets 200.
Okay.
And the under the gun dead money raiser, he folds.
Okay.
And it gets back to me.
Describing him from the previous hand and the way he played his 8-9 for bottom pair. Kind of like an raise.
I mean, this hand happened a couple days before that. This might have happened the first time I played.
So we didn't have that information.
No, he's sometimes he's just crazy playing like 100 VPIP, and sometimes he's not. I thought here if I check raised, I thought the most money to make was just check, just a call.
Just a call.
And give him a chance to bluff again.
Okay.
With all his crap. If I raise here, I mean, this is saying contradicting the exact opposite of what I said the last game, where if I raise here, he might just, take it as a challenge. No, I've got it, and he shoves in. So that might have been the most profitable way to go here, but also,
but again, this one's so obvious, any idiot can see it. Jack makes it straight.
Well, yeah.
The other hand he had a lot more bluffing opportunity.
Like I said, against some different kinds of opponents, I might check raise here, but I just to call.
Okay.
And the river is the 5 of spades.
Okay. Oh. All right. So we got 805 in the middle. And it's on us. As played, I think. God. Yeah, I feel like I'd check.
Well, we're not worried about the flush, right? Because he would have bet the flop.
I think so.
The flush draw on the flop.
No, maybe I would squeak a little something out of there, like 290, 350, something like that, just to try to squeak out. I mean, that's like 30 big blinds in this game. Well, and you might get called by King Queen.
3,500 is $350 is $350. That's a car payment was what that is, Steve.
Yeah.
We don't think in terms of big blinds when there's supposed to. I thought first if I lead here, like if he's got gives him a chance just to fold his bluffs. He might not. He might not rip it over me. And I mean, I guess the one thing, if you bet here, you could rep the flush and get him off a jack.
Yeah.
Against this opponent, maybe just.
I don't know that he's going to fold a jack, would he? He's not folding a jack for 300.
I doubt it, but it would be. Yeah. Well, I was going to say if that's our goal, we should like pot it.
Yeah.
And like for this guy, might get actually. It's a mergy bet. He might call with one or two pair as well.
Okay.
Not just put you on. It's just kind of interesting. I don't know. There's difference. I decided just to check, and he bets 500.
Okay.
Like I said, when I think you could just shove here for 2,000 or 1,900 something. I don't know if that's maybe against this guy. He's gonna fold. He's got to fold 2 pair to that, I would think, with the flush out there. But maybe he does. Can he get called by worse? I guess is the question. If I shove,
I don't think so.
Like I said, I'm really dismissive of the possibility he has spades. So I sort of basically have the nuts here.
Yeah.
Sometimes I guess he's got ace jack, but even ace jack, I think he bets every single jack on the flop just because it's straight. This is often just a give up hand from him. Like he was giving up with it on the flop, I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then on the turn, he's like, oh, well, okay, these guys don't have much. I got to, he bets 500. And I'm saying all this afterwards, but like I just called quickly. It's like, oh, there's a flush drag out there, the second nuts. But I'm like, you got to, this might be, again, going back to my point of like bankroll.
Yeah.
I think shoving it here against this guy, he might call you with just 1 pair. Especially when, again, you got to remember that like $2,000, this guy's nothing.
True.
He's got $18,000 in front of him.
Yeah, yeah.
Or it's not a lot of chips. Let's put it that way. Like if he's not even thinking about money was at the table, it's just it's a portion of his stack. Like he's probably thinking of it in tournament mindset. Anyways, I just call, and again, it's sort of funny. He has just what he has. It turns out he has 6 of hearts, 2 of diamonds.
Huh.
So
okay.
He was drawing dead. He was drawing dead the whole time there, pretty much.
Yeah. I wonder. See, I'd never thought of raising there. I guess I just figured I would have done the same in game as you, as I would have just called. But
I think check. I think raising the turn was definitely the play. Now looking back at it, because again, Yeah, you want to play for you're looking for spots to play for stacks, and this wasn't like with the pocket tens where it's the stone cold nuts, but it is, we might have got the same result this time if we check raised. I mean, if we just we let out, you never know. He might have.
Yeah.
He might have raised the flop, or if we just check raised the turn, he might have shoved over us because he still had. But it's interesting when you got this kind of villain. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, he does have $1 million to spend there, and he'll be, he's going to play every night for the next 3 or 4 months, which is probably about how long it would take to lose that.
Yeah.
Well, $10K a night. He's had some big nights there too. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
yeah.
He puts people in bad spots, and you just have to pay him off, obviously. But so kind of how I would proceed in this card room with this sort of presence there, so it will be this constant thing of, well, it'd be great if he showed up before, because it doesn't really matter how much it is. Like a lot of these, heavy poker players, they don't want to be there till like 8 or 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Because they know this guy's going to, they know there's not really a rush for them to get in there, because the games have been very similar. It's kind of funny. This guy get drunk and like he's calling on, well, Thanksgiving we had a good game, and he was even calling like the best players like west of Vegas. What are you afraid of me? Come on down. Da, da, da. Because he was upset because he was sitting there playing with me and a couple guys with 2,000. So finally, these guys, of course, changed their plans.
Yeah.
And they each came, shut up, and they all, put 25K on the table or whatever. So it was a profitable game. But yeah, it is like I got to pick my spots. But there's times if you don't have position on them, and you got 3 or other 4, good pros to your left, it really matters. This is where you really have to know about like your player pool and your game selection. Like if I look over there and I'm, like I said, if he's the only spot on the table, then everyone else is probably going to be going after me too. Maybe, I don't know. And then it's always good to be in there, but it's just like I said, it's nerve wracking. Yeah. Like even in this Jack 10 spot, I'm like, God, I better not be beat here. It was probably like a crying call, even though the guy had 6 deuce and he could have. Wasn't. Yeah. And even the 10s, I saw the 8. There's just, again, these are just looking back to a couple of years ago. This would be like average size pots with me. I was often probably describing hands where I was like 3 or 4K effective with people. Yeah. But I just don't have the luxury of losing 6K pots. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not right now. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he sticks around, because it's like he's the center of the card room right now. And the problem is when this guy shows up, of course, pros smell it out, or they tell their buddies or whatever. Yeah. I mean, like it was so great. You're rooting for the guy. Of course, we're not. Friday night, this would be actually a perfect example. I actually did get a seat in the game, but it was him and then me and like all these like 10, 25 crushers kind of guys, Yeah. They all knew Friday night, okay, he's coming back. I think the previous night he might have won 15K or something. And this is kind of funny. He won a big pot early on Friday night. It was just all, like I said, it was just a bad table. And maybe he sensed what was going on, or he just wanted to put, he just basically did nothing but fold for 3 hours, I'm told. So my one buddy was just going bananas, and he lost. He lost like 30K. He was trying to do everything, just to get this guy stirred up. And,
yeah. None of it worked.
Yeah, none of it worked.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, so he'll probably, if he sticks around much longer, he'll probably maybe change his game a little bit. But like if he's there a lot with throwing money around, I got to make sure I try to get some of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But like I said, a lot of it is just it's going to be me losing 3,000 or gaining 3,000. But maybe if I have a good week, let's say I have a couple good sessions, I can buy in for 2,000 and say, listen, I'm staying till the game breaks.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the night I turn 2K into 15K, and voila, I've got my month in Europe. Yeah. I'm thinking rationally, Steve. How much you spend on Thanksgiving? By the way, I've spent $1,000 on my son, which is considering my overall,
On Thanksgiving?
I'm sorry. No, on Christmas.
Oh, on Christmas. Oh, I haven't done anything yet for Christmas.
I mean, like, it's just like, I just bought a $400 Lego set of like Harry Potter. No, yeah, it's like Harry Potter's. It's the biggest Lego set ever. 6,000 pieces.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. It'll probably take him 3 days to do.
Will he actually finish it?
Oh yeah, he loves that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He'll do that all. He'll do that all on his own. But what is my point here, Steve? I don't know here. Now I'm getting super high. But anyways, no. I mean, oh yeah, just in terms of like when if I did turn it into 20,000 a night, I would certainly be like, I'd be thinking of like my trip to Europe rather than, okay, this is good, save some money after Christmas kind of thing. I'm already getting excited. All I said is $20,000, and I started to. Of course, Steve, you or I might make 20,000 tomorrow if we decide to go to play some tournaments. I don't know.
I'm kind of excited. I got to get a good night's sleep. We'll see how it goes.
I guess we can. We can get a hotel room there too. I don't know. Maybe if we just stay the night.
We could, yeah. Let's wrap it up. And I'm excited. Let's go play a tournament. Okay,
Steve.
Right on.
I'll talk to you. Well, I'll talk to you tomorrow either way. And
all right, brother. And thank you for coming on. We moved our website. We're now headsuppoker.info. So you can go there and check out the new website. Thank you for tuning in. Here is your weekly motivational speech.
Life. How beautiful it is. How amazing it is to be able to rise up in the morning and have that sun shine on your face rather than on your grave. What makes life so unique and so beautiful? It is beautiful because whatever you have that you may be facing, what you may be dealing with, life is still good. Life has so many moving parts, but life is always good. Every day is a new day and another opportunity that others may not have. This life that you have been given, this life that you are temporarily holding on to, this life that has been just given to you for only temporary reasons, has more meaning than you can ever imagine. So many people in the world take life for granted instead of realizing that you have to take the opportunity to live it the best way you know how. Now on this journey of life, you're gonna face a significant amount of circumstances, a significant amount of challenges. You're gonna fall into areas that you cannot understand. And maybe it's not in a position for you to understand at that moment. When you start to feel that you are in a position that you don't love your life, then shame on you. Because your life is a beautiful thing. And no one deserves to ruin it. No one deserves to control it. No one deserves to steal your joy. Your life is your life, and you have the right to live it the best way you can. You must discipline yourself and take full control and responsibility for the outcome or whatever it is that you are seeking at this moment.